Racer X, what's going on? It's DVS Dano here, hanging out for a little in-stock action at Gaerne Boots. We're at the U.S. satellite office. I want to go see what's going on in here. Let's go track down Bob and check out my favorite boots, huh? Oh, let's go. All right, here we are in the front lobby. Check it out. I think that's Jeff NorCal Northrop. Old school, back in the day. What's up, 615 Jeff? So when you guys call in, this is who you get. Hi, Katie. It's not Katy Perry, but she said she can sing like her in karaoke, so, you know, we'll check in. As you can see behind me here in the warehouse, we're standing here checking it all out. There's a ton of boots here, a lot of boots. So for like guys like Windham, for Brayton, for the Star Valley Rockstar Yamaha team, 450 dudes, they all get their boots here with the parts and soles, everything that you need for your boots. So Gaerne Boots, let's go. So this is pretty cool right here. I'm just walking through Justin Brayton. Justin, hey, man, like your trophy. What Supercross was this? Was it the third? Was it a second? Which one was it? Really? I don't know. I think it might have been, what, 2 nationals ago. But, hey, you're looking good, bud. Styling and profiling. Here's my buddy TC, Trey Kennard. He won the East Lights on Gaerne Boots, too. Check that out. You got the RD Ryan Dungey helmet. I'm sure Bob is really proud of this one. If you guys know, Bob won a title with Ryan Dungey also. All right, let's see where he's at. Knock, knock. Hey, Bob.
Hey, Steve.
Look at this. A working class hero right here. Working class man.
Getting busted in here by Racer X, so I'll call you back. Hold on. See you later.
Bob,
Hey, Racer X,
what's up, man? Dano.
Nice to see you guys.
This is the man, the myth, the legend, Bob Rathkamp. Hey, I want you to show us the evolution of the Gaerne boot. Can you do that for us?
Yeah, you came to the right place. I've got a few samples we can show you, and we can just talk about where Gaarne's been in the last 50 years.
Awesome. Let's mic them up and see what we got.
All right, guys. Well, we're going to talk about boots here a little bit. Here we are in California. Boots are made in Italy, as you know, Dano. And, man, I wish I could bring you to the factory. That would be the killer way to really show you about quality and manufacturing and that type of thing. But what we've kind of put together here for you guys today is to show you a quick snapshot of the last, I don't know, 30 years of boot making in Italy, and some riders that you might identify with and the boots that they wore then, and bring you up to speed to present. So anyhow, I've compiled a couple of boots here, and we'll just kind of go through it a little bit and show you. This was kind of, I guess, a 1980s type boot. And they were all kind of, in those days, most of the boots were made in Italy. There were a couple of key manufacturers there. They were all pretty plain, as you can see. Good leather, Velcro closures. They had a quick pull. Most guys had a quick lace, they called this, which you just kind of give this a yank and pull the front up. But as you can see, pretty simple technology in those days. This was Osho, Johnny O'Mara era. Factory Honda won Supercross title for Gaerne back in those days. This is kind of that era. Moving up the ladder a little bit, this is only a couple years after that. It's very similar, as you can see, and this was probably something Gaerne did for Kawasaki. Maybe guys like Eddie Warren, some of those kind of guys. Team Green, I remember they were a sponsor of Team Green back in those days. But always great quality, but again, as you can see, we didn't need much then. The fork tubes were pretty small. Bikes we were still racing 100s and 125s. Stadium jumps weren't quite as big as they are today, but this is what we needed then, and it worked. So then, big breakthrough came. This is towards the end of the 80s. Wow, look at this. Mold-injected plastic to bounce the rocks off you. A little more ankle protection in here with some little plastic components. The buckles, all of a sudden we think we need a little more ankle support because guys are casing bigger jumps. Not by today's standards, but again, kind of, you can see the evolution starting here a little bit, but a little more ankle support, not as flimsy as the earlier boots, but still Vibram soles, rubber, some mold injection, and this was a while back then. So here we are, let's say 1990, late 80s. This is this is this is right about the time we entered here. This was ratchet. You know, Gaerne came up with this idea that we should have a ratcheting buckle closure. I can tell you that wasn't a good idea. They got busted up in first turns and they'd get all sideways and they'd break, and you know, they must have been looking at some marble factory there, because I don't know what that's all about either, but I guess, you know, the green, I don't know, Dano, what's up with the green, huh? This is 19, I want to say 90, and we've got, maybe this is Joel Smets or something, a world title. You can see maybe some of the stuff was transitioning here. They've got a little rubber on here because the well, I don't think this is before four strokes, but things would melt. Anyhow, this was starting to come around a little bit. Then we go into Mike Kiedrowski. This is a boot that they made for him. This is pretty wild, huh?
Look at this.
Moo! This was made, according to Mike, for Houston Supercross. He wore this once, and he was moving a couple years ago, and I guess these were in his garage, and he asked me if I wanted them, so kind of a cool one-off. I mean, you certainly don't see these every day. So that was Mike Kiedrowski, factory Kawasaki, I want to say early 90s. Then, let's see here, Dano. We entered the program. Let's show. There's an SG1 that I couldn't find that we're kind of missing. So when we got involved about 15 years ago, Mike LaRocco was our first rider that we were able to work with. And Mike was fantastic. He was a great R&D guy. And he wanted more ankle protection than these boots gave him. And he was really pushing us hard to kind of redevelop a boot. So at that time, there was an SG1, which I don't have, sorry about that, but this was our first big shot at trying to really bring our boot into the upper echelons of a premium, what we call a premium boot. Still, this whole time, made in Italy, no Chinese stuff here. You know, the factory says Gaerne on the side of the building. They're with us the whole way. We make this boot, and we come up with this hinge design. This was an SG10, which is still in the line today. A very good boot, sells very well. And this has, this basically, we came up with this hinge. So you can see, without the hinge, it's not a very stable boot, but this is kind of an inner sleeve, so there's no pinching or binding. We eliminated all of that by virtue of this hinge. And not only did we eliminate that pinching, if I can get this back over, I want to show you, what we did here is we really prevented the rolling of an ankle. And that means when you come off a big jump in Supercross and you know, you get a little squirrely and your foot goes down just a little bit to the side and you can land like this, sometimes you roll your ankle and it can be extremely painful. Sometimes sprains are worse than a break, but impossible to roll an ankle with this technology. It just started everything for us. And then with the advent of the four-stroke, along came the melting of everything, pants and boots. I remember Pingree rode for us on a KTM. He could melt a hole in a pair of boots in one night. You know, just boots are shot, got a hole in them. And so that wasn't going to work. So we came up with this rubber that's indestructible. You can put, you know, a lot of the Supercross guys put this really aggressive grip tape on. You can't grind it off with the grip tape. You can put the pipe on. It gets a little smeary, but it won't melt. And then this really grips. So we were a little concerned in wet conditions, like at an outdoor national, is that going to work? But actually it even works better than leather, because in an outdoor setting and you got a leather boot, the water soaks in, it becomes like a sponge. It never really grips again. This is almost like a squeegee. It starts gripping your bike again. The mud goes away, you start gripping. So anyhow, this was a boot I grabbed from LaRocco towards the end when he was going to retire. Had him sign it, little red sole action on there. But this is one he actually wore and helped us develop, thanks to Mike. I mean, that really put us on the map in the premium boot business. And then I guess we had a couple riders of notoriety, one being Ryan Dungey. This was a boot we made for him, factory Suzuki. Had a little yellow accent, put his graphic on the back. This, I believe, he won Phoenix Supercross with. And again, we appreciate all the input that he put into our boot. He was a fantastic ambassador for our brand. Still a great guy. Obviously, everybody knows him, and we've got K-Dub, we've got Brayton, we've had the Factory Connection guys, Rockstar Suzuki. We've had amateurs of Villapoto, Ryan Villapoto when he was on Team Green wore these, Davey Millsaps. So we've had a lot of guys, and you know how the business goes. They get a ride with Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit's sponsored by a different brand. They've got to do it. It's cool. We appreciate everybody's input on this product. However, we stepped it up one more notch. Our latest one is called the SG12, and what riders wanted from the SG10, what the input they brought to us, they wanted a little bigger surface of this grip guard, this area that you can grip the bike. They wanted a little smoother inside. This one has a compression slide that when you case something really hard, this thing comes down, so when your knee brace pushes down, it doesn't put all that pressure on your ankle. And this also has a dual stage pivot system, and what that means is when you land or case something really hard like this, it bottoms out, and the idea is to disperse some of the energy from your ankle so you just don't feel that complete impact and just, you know, pain, I guess, and ultimately we hope that the injury is less severe or no injury, we hope. Again, dual composite sole, but this is the latest and greatest, what we use. There's a lot of features inside, internally, that you can't see. Dano spotted this little piece downstairs, thought it might be of interest to you guys. This is called a memory cell foam. This is what we use on the interior. As you can see, it's rather thick in areas where it needs to be. It's got here's your shank, your midsole, your sole. This kind of shows the whole interior of the boot. This is a synthetic leather insert in the front to keep the debris out and stuff. This is called a kind of a biofoam material up here to just kind of keep debris out and keep a tight fit. But this is an SG10 that we cut in half and just showed it at some trade shows of people that are interested in the interior. But that kind of brings us up to speed on the boots. Just kind of shows you the years that Gaerne's been into making boots. It's not like they were making hunting boots one year and now all of a sudden they're making motocross boots. They've been committed to motorcycling and bicycle footwear for, like I said, 50 years. Speaking of which, I'll just show you real quick. We use some of this technology in our most recent road race boot, which is very lightweight, and it's got, you know, titanium sliders, again the grip guard, but we use this pivot system so that, again, you can't roll your ankle. Road racers don't hit big triples, but sometimes they fall off, and when they go sliding along and they hit something, they can buckle their ankle. So hopefully this would prevent some of those type of injuries. So anyhow, if you're into road racing, we also have a touring line with waterproof membranes, and you know, if you're driving a big Goldwing cross country, we have that too. But as Dano and as Racer X, we're into motocross, so that's what we're excited about. And then most recently, into the U.S. about a year ago, we got involved with a cycling. This is a mountain bike shoe, carbon sole. These are kind of expensive. These are high-end shoes, but they're great. And a lot of motocrossers and people in our industry are real avid cyclists. So we thought it just made sense for us to get involved with the shoe business too. And a lot of guys ride mountain bikes, and it seems like with the tour and everything else, this is a road shoe, carbon sole, very lightweight, BOA. Check this out, Dano, it's pretty light. I mean, that thing weighs hardly anything. So, again, we're doing the cycling shoes. They've been doing that for about 30 years and really a big brand in Europe. And we hope to kind of get this rolling here too in the States. But listen, guys, that's kind of the technology here and the motocross boots that we know about. And there's some new ideas on the table for 2012 or SG12 and beyond, 2012. But we just got to keep working and doing our thing as bikes evolve and tracks evolve and riders get faster and do things we never thought they could do. They need more protection. So, we follow that scale and that logic, and hopefully we can bring them some new products. So thanks, guys, for coming out.